everybody. Welcome to an episode of Breaking the Block, where we help writers overcome writer's block or creatives overcome creative's block. Writers helping writers, all that good stuff, all the keywords, all the time. And I will let Rita introduce herself, and then we'll get started.
Hi, I'm Rita, also Miranda. I write young adult urban fantasy paranormal because of witches and family secrets. And I normally host writing streams on Monday mid-morning and Thursday mid-morning and catch my tarot streams around the full moon of each month.
Yes, very much so. Make sure to go check it out. The links in the description box should work, but just in case, I am going to pop her channel in the chat. That way y'all can clicky and follow and subscribe and all the good stuff. All right, so I do have a couple of other links in the chat. We've got the Breaking the Block sign up. So if you want to join me and Miranda, aka Rita, up here on screen, be sure to fill that out and I will send you the links to join us backstage. And if you have any questions and you don't feel like popping them into the chat, there is a form where you can stay rather anonymous. I am the only one that will see the email or something like that. And that's only so I can link you to the Breaking the Block episode where we cover your question. All right. And we've got a cat paw. Where did it go? It's not popping up for me. And we've got a Sako. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. So I'm going to work backwards, and I'm actually going to do your questions first, and then we'll hit the others. Oh, hey, there's a Laura.
Hello.
Laura, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. I am an author. Surprise. I have this book out called Tiny Shivers. I'm querying this book called Nightmare Lane Seeds of Doubt. She's Plant Lady. And I'm working on draft 2 of Vampire Romance.
Nice. And I'm going to pop Laura's links in the chat here. That way we can do that. And then, as I'm doing that, we'll go over this question right here. So what editing software that's free would you recommend to use?
What do you mean editing software? Like,
I guess it's more formatting.
Formatting?
Yeah,
okay.
It's more formatting than editing. I guess did I say editing? I meant formatting.
You're good. I can change that
it's
really
like,
quick.
I've never used Grammarly or ProWriting Aid, but for formatting, I have used Readsy, which is free. So it only gives you 3 options of like fonts and styles, but you do get the additional option of, do you want the drop caps at the start of the chapter? Do you want the chapter number or just the title or both? So like I used it for, I messed up for this one. Like I titled it chapter 5 and kept the number 5, but I also used it for this one. So like it's free. And you can do as many exports as you want. You just have to wait like 10 minutes between exports. So yeah.
And what is exports?
Where it compiles everything into a ebook publication file. You can do it as a print file or as an ebook file. Or like you have both options for every book that you have in the editor. But yeah, that's free. So it's not as diverse in like what you can do to it as Atticus or Vellum or what's the other one? InDesign. But yeah, it's free and it does what I need it to do. Like you have front matter and back matter. Like you have your about the author, also by the author. In the front, you have your title page, your copyright page, your dedication page. Like you have table of contents. So like it does everything you need it to do, and you can choose which of the front matters and back matters that you want.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
So-
my next step in getting my proof copy. It's like, okay, maybe I really should. I need to do the whole formatting thing, not just the revising and proofreading and editing. I need to do that, and the back matter stuff, like about the author little blurb and
Yeah,
the dedication and the acknowledgments. I'm like, oh, I'm not even close to getting my proof copy. I
it
have
has a section. It has a section as well where you can insert your URL for your newsletter. So like if it's an ebook, it's clickable. And for the also by the author in the ebook, it's clickable. That'll take you to your Amazon page or whatever page that you link it to. So people can keep going down your backlist. But yeah, I think it does what I need to do for free.
Nice.
Sounds excellent.
I know we mentioned like Google Docs backstage. I had problems formatting in Google Docs, and it was easier for me to format in Word. It might be the opposite for some people, but with Word, you can do like different little chapter breaks, like different little images for that, and it will upload to Kindle and Ingram Spark and Draft Digital just fine. Draft Digital, you might have to tweak the image a little bit to make it recenter, but more often than not, you don't. But yeah, Word is good. It's really good, and Draft Digital will fix all the other problems that you might have with formatting. And that way, you can just export it from Draft Digital to upload it everywhere else. Because that's what I did with Capture the Empress and the Belle Earth Witch. I'm No Hero was a beast, and I had to do like 4 or 5 different programs with it because it was just so time consuming and huge. And I wanted every time I changed it to Draft Digital to Ingram Spark or something, it always messed up. So I had to try different programs with it. But yeah. Sako says I used to use something called Edit Minion. That was great, but they closed down years ago. Oh no. That's not cool. I hate when you find something that really works and they just let go. Bye-bye. Okay.
Or when Word was you only pay for the software, and then now you got to pay so much a month. And I understand that if you stop paying, then you lose all your work. That's what I've been told. I don't know if that's true or not, because to me that doesn't make sense. You should still be able to access it. You may not be able to fix it, but you should still be able to have access to it. But who knows for sure?
I'm pretty sure that you can still have access to it because I think there was one year where I was a little late on the payment. And I can still open my work, but I couldn't work on it. Like I could still copy and paste it. So I could copy it from Word and go paste it in Google Docs or something like that. And my work was still, on my hard drive and stuff. So, but it's always good to try to save your work in 3 different places. Like I have mine saved in Google Docs. I have mine saved in Atticus. I have mine saved in Word. And then I also have it saved on a different external hard drive just in case this one goes, I don't want to work anymore. So yeah. All right. Morning, Eva. I saw you pop up over on YouTube. I don't see the comment over here just yet. And Nihelina as well. Good morning. Here we go. Excuse me while I yell at Hunter right quick. Hunter! Sorry. There we go. Cat Paw says, I don't know what I used for The Spirit of Flying 2013, but it's gone. I moved to Smashwords after Lulu messed up one time too many. I understand that. So next time, I guess, draft a digital. Yeah. It's, like I said, it's pretty good. Google it up and quit. It depends on the word count. And the strength of your internet. So, like I was saying, I'm No Hero was a beast. I had I'm No Hero in Google Docs, and because once it reached 75,000 words, Google was like, nah, I'm not loading this correctly for you anymore. So you have to. Raven says, can you give your pupper head scratches for selfie lovers? Yes, I can. If he will stop licking so that he deserves it. Don't make me point you. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Terrible. Okay. So y'all can't. Yeah. I'm giving him butt scratches. Does that work? All right. So this question, how do you know when to take a critique partner's advice and when not to? Anybody?
So I recently had beta readers go through one of my books, and it was hard for getting the feedback from one particular one because it was very like they tore it apart, but in a good way. But it was still hard to read it, and it was like, yes, it makes sense. Yes, it makes sense. Yes, I see what you're seeing. But it's hard when you don't know for sure in your head what you want your own book to be. If you haven't done that soul searching and be like, I want it to be this genre. I want this to be like the theme for sure. And like done, like have your vision for the book in your head. I didn't have that. I pantsed it, and it was just, I don't know, like, so it put me in a funk for a couple of weeks, but since then, and reading the other beta readers' feedback, it helped me solidify, like, yes, I want it to be this particular genre, and it's okay if it's that genre. Like, it doesn't have to be like literary or whatever. And so, yeah, I would say have a solid idea of what your vision for your book is, and what feedback isn't in line with your vision, discard it.
Good advice. I like when Eva said she likes what she likes.
When I agree with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when I sent one of my books for the first time to beta readers. I was so nervous. I thought, okay, I put in years for this story, even just the first draft, and then how many revisions, and what are they going to like about it? What are they not going to like about it? And even the parts when they didn't like, they explained it so well that at the end I ended up agreeing with them. It's like, this totally makes sense. And with my critique partners, it's the first time I've ever had critique partners. And I'll tell you, critique partners are so much better for me than beta readers, because critique partners, you only get a chapter a time. And for beta readers, you've got like sometimes weeks or a month to read a whole complete novel with comments, and it's just overwhelming. But I really like the critique partners. Even that way, you get to read each other's, and you're learning other people's kind of writing, their voice, how their word selection and all that. So it's been interesting. I'm really enjoying it. But another thing that you need to do before you publish your book, all these little steps that you don't think of, other than you got to write the book, you got to revise the book, and then you got to do all these other things that has a somewhat beginner you don't realize until the end. Is like, oh wait, I am so far from getting a proof copy done. I have all this stuff I have to do still that I never even thought of.
Yeah, that's the reason why I like people who give like checklists of their processes, because it's really good to kind of tweak yours. Like if you didn't think of something, then you can always add it into your own processes. But yeah, let's see.
I
go ahead.
I had a list of questions that I sent with my document to my beta readers, and some of my beta readers are critique partners, basically. I did a backstage with one of them, and we brainstormed things on what I could do to address some of the issues, I guess. Some of the things that they pointed out. So that was helpful. Another one, we do Discord calls all the time and talk about our whips. And so, but now they've read my whole whip. And so they have a better vision of what's going down and everything. So that's helpful.
Very good. And this right here, the worst part of giving feedback is deflating a writer's joy. I try so hard not to, but it does happen. Hold on, let me shut the door before there's more noise.
I like that you do the video chats too, but with your chapters. So it's not
I've never sent just chapters, unless that's all I have written. Because I'll share my first drafts with people, because I need they need to talk to people. So it's like, and I just love. I might be an oversharer, but yeah, like I'm used to fanfic where you get that immediate validation of like, just post the chapter, let people comment to be like, I need more. So, things like that. So
yeah. Eva also says, I want someone to tell me if it's bad, but with details. I know readers don't care nearly so much as writers, and writers are often my critique partners. Good enough, not a masterpiece. That's my aim. Right. So it's like when I beta read, sure, I go through and I comment on little things like some grammar things that I might catch, or if a sentence doesn't really make any sense to me. But I also try to go in, and if there's like a really awesome sentence or a really awesome piece of dialogue, I make sure that they know it too. You have to layer the good in with the bad. It can't just be all bad. I've had a couple of beta readers where it's just been like all bad. And it's like, okay, they really hated this story. And then they'll email me after they're through. And it's like, I love this story. And I'm like, well, the comments didn't say that you did. So yeah, it's layered. Make a sandwich out of your comments.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make it skimpy.
Right. Is your Discord set up like that, Laura, for instant feedback? Oh, that would be a good idea.
The one that I was in, that we did weekly meetings where we would read up to, like, it had to be under 2K words for each person, and we would read it aloud with the Google Doc with everybody, and make comments in line, and do a verbal commentary on it afterwards. And so that was very helpful. That was for a Toronto specific Discord. And so that was really helpful. And when there was a lot of us who break into groups in the voice chats on Discord. So there was usually like 5 to 8 people looking at it at the same time with you.
Right.
So that was really helpful. I am not in a group that does that right now, but I will do it just with a friend in our friend chat Discord. So, yeah.
See, Eva says, I'm more of a broad strokes, developmental edits, feedback than line copy edits. So my positives are larger than lines, but I do mark good lines when they spark the desire to. And yes, critique group live was fun. And there's also the first page critique with AWC. And I'm pretty sure that Kaufman over on Writes Now does like chapter critiques or something like that every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to go over to his channel and make sure, but make sure to check out his channel. It's called Write Now, WRITE. He has a lot of good stuff over there. But all right, moving right along. And again, I do apologize about all the interruptions. Dogs. All right. So on the same note as beta reading and critique reading, what are the qualities of bad writing to you? What makes you DNF a book or a beta read the fastest?
So I have 2 books that I'm trying to beta read. One of them, English is not their first language. And so it makes it very hard to get through when 80% of my comments is fixing tense shifts. And so it makes it harder to do the bigger picture feedback and like more like how, like giving examples of how they could reword something to make it prettier. And so thankfully they're going to run it through Grammarly and then resend it to me. So hopefully that'll fix a lot of the tense shifts. But
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. Bad writing for me for fanfic, where I will immediately just be like, nah, and just drop a fanfic, is when the grammar is terrible. But I haven't beta read a book that has had that terrible of grammar, where it's, I don't know, like besides tense shifts. So I don't know. It annoys me when it's like, did you not pay attention in middle school? Come on, people. Come on. But the author might be in middle school. You never know with fanfic.
Yeah,
So,
for real.
Yeah. I don't know. You got anything, Rita?
I'm probably one of the opposite of most people that I write with. Is if there's too much spice
Mm.
and not enough plot and story and characters that I enjoy reading, I just can't read it anymore. I do know, thanks to those Stuff Your Kindle or Kobo days, I've gotten a lot of free indie books, and there's been some of them that I might read the first chapter and I just can't get into the plot. Or sometimes I don't want to say the grammar's really bad, but the writing I just can't get into, so I just don't finish. But I do remember I've tried a traditional Outlander, which I understand is a huge success. I've watched the TV series; it's fabulous, but I have not been able to finish book one. I've tried it a few times. It could be just because there's too much cruelty in the spice that I just can't do it.
Yeah. So mine is, if I have to go back and reread a sentence or a paragraph more than 3 times in order to get either where the characters are or get what you're trying to say, or whatever, if I have to go back and read it more than 3 times, I can't. It's going to take too long. So that's when I DNF. Another thing is, if it's way too over the top, not necessarily prosy, but it's for one instance, the boobs be bouncing boobly kind of thing, that kind of over the top, I can't do. So yeah,
I'd be just skipping that part.
So I just remembered there is a book that's traditionally published and had all these accolades of like blurbs by famous authors. And I was like, and the cover was gorgeous. I was so excited. It was a horror. And I was like, ooh, it looks amazing. And so I started reading it, and I write very descriptive purpley. Not purple, but like whatever. So
it's chef's kiss, Laura. Chef's kiss.
So I was like, oh, I'm excited. And then I started reading it, and I was like, this person has used the word chiaroscuro a couple of times already. Like, I know what it means because I studied art history, but like, normal people don't use this multiple times in a couple chapters. And it was just so purpley to the point where it's like, this person is thinking internally with all of these huge words and flowery sentences, and then like when they're speaking out loud to like in the dialogue, it's not there. And it's like, are they masking really hard? Like there's a disconnect between their internal and their external. And I was like, that's weird. And then like the whole, I didn't jive with the character. Like the ending was literally like ghost stuff is happening and people are dying and it's intense, and the main character is like, I'm gonna sit down and smoke a cigarette, and I'm like, you're not gonna run your life? Okay, I'm just gonna sit here and watch my friend get eaten by a ghost. It's like, are you a psychopath? Okay. So I didn't DNF it, but it was a very short novella. So it was like, yes, I love pretty prose. It is. But, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It just pulled me out of the story real fast.
And that's another thing you reminded me. If I can't root for a character, at least one in the story, or be pulled by them emotionally somehow, I can't read through the whole book because I can't get invested in it. So that's another thing. Eva says, bad writing for me is choppy. I lose a story because I'm trying to figure out what is going on too often. I can handle an unedited story if the pacing is good. Cat Boss says, too much detail and description too early. Info dumping is your worst enemy, my friends.
The thing is, my beta readers for Crimson Strings were like, I need the info dump. Help. Exposition, please help. It's like, oh no. I feel like you've gone too far in the opposite direction. I'm lost. Help.
Oh no. Oh, no.
Dang it.
Okay, so some info dumping is bad.
Yeah.
Raven says, I wish the fanfic writers would put their work through a free grammar check. Yeah. Eva says, the last book I DNF'd was too prosy. Beautiful story, beautiful writing, not much excitement. I forget its name. Tried published, though, about trees. That has kind of me interested. The last Indian DNF'd was super juvenile in its grammar, while the audience was adult, so it was meh. Yeah. Prosy. Super poetic word choices, paragraphs of description that was as philosophical as it was physical description, prosy. Yeah. So there is a place and time for Lord of the Rings esqueness, and it's usually back in time because current audiences don't really care for that right now. They want the action. They want some description, but they want the action. They want the characterization. They want, the here now. Give it to me. Ava says the Overstory by Richard Powers. I googled the book about trees, fiction prose, and they knew what I wanted. Huh. Okay. Raven says, I can't tell if the prosy thing is bad or not. Maybe it depends. Yeah. Like, poetry, it should be all prose. Some literary fiction, definitely. Epic fantasy, probably, yes. Other things, I mean, you do you. You do what makes you happy, but you also gotta kind of try to think what your readers are going to like as well. Prosy is also scholarly. Devin joined us. Literature. Let's see. But they can run and smoke too. Devin says, anything unedited, I will DNF. And almost all the books I was forced to read in school. Yes. Also, if I'm bored by the story. Yeah. Raven's having trouble with tone in their current story. So is it like per scene, or is it just the overall tone that you're having problems with, Raven? If you're great with prose, but you do not overwrite. Devin says, I've been known to DNF accidentally, aka shiny syndrome. This is me right here.
I'm in the middle of like 10 books that I have not finished.
Same. And it's not that the story I was reading that I saw something shiny was more boring than the shiny thing. It's just my brain just wanted to go in that direction. Come on, madam. You already headbutted the door open. Come on. Hold on.
Like, I'm in the middle of, have been for over a year, of Find Them Where You Left Them Dead, Scare Waves, What Stays Buried. Like, it's a plethora. Like, some are middle grade, some are YA, some are adult. It's just shiny new book syndrome.
Mm. Yeah, poetry. Yeah, I didn't. Y'all know what I meant. Didn't mean it that way, but yeah. Most poetry that I've read is very prosy, and that could just be what I've found at the time. I don't do much poetry. Let's see. Catpaw says, I was really looking forward to an indie book called World Minus Me, I think. I could not get past page 15 for all the unnecessary like words. Where is it? Yeah, okay. Most of the books I had to read in school were so dull. Okay, Raven says that she's having trouble with a specific scene with tone. If you have like the emotional thesaurus, sometimes, how can I word this? Y'all, I haven't had enough coffee. Describing characters' reactions in just a touch of a different way, using different words so that it sounds either darker or lighter or something like that, will help with the tone of that scene. So that might be something that could help. Just going through your words, changing a couple here and there, more towards darker things. Like Laura's work. If she writes something squishy, use squishy sounding words like moist or blush or something like that. Instead, yeah.
I find that using the character lens is a great way to figure out word choice. So if the character is a fashion designer, they'll notice the cut of the cloth and the textures and stuff of what people are wearing, possibly before they notice what their facial features look like. And also, what is their history? Like, what is the mental state that they're in when they're interacting with somebody? And filter your word choice through what they're feeling. How the MC would translate being touched. Like, is it something scary right now? Is it not something scary right now? So things like that.
And colors. If a lot of colors in the scene will also help set the mood and the tone. If you got a lot of yellows and oranges and greens, then the readers tend to think that it's going to be happier. If you have darker reds like blood red or blacks or just your darker toned colors, then it's going to set the tone as heavier.
I actually have some examples I wrote of describing the same scene from different characters. You want me to look it up or not?
Sure.
I'll have to dig real quick.
Mango habanero is tasty. What?
Yeah, I saw that too. And I'm like, okay, isn't that a type of like a pepper,
I don't know.
a moreno or whatever you pronounce? I think that's a pepper, a really hot one.
The sandwich was yummy. Making an adult sentence. Okay. Anybody want to try? I'm going to get some more coffee before I do.
Well, my characters would say the sandwich is yummy because they're a bunch of 15 and 16-year-olds. And some in one series they're even younger. Like one of my side characters, she's like 13, so she would definitely say yummy. Which she probably has in my book somewhere.
Or you could pull a Ratatouille and have the character go into a mental flashback of his mother's cooking. And just...
Or Food Wars anime description.
Yeah, why would he be shouting gotcha?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me move location real quick. And then I found my examples.
Okay. Yeah. It's a hot sauce. I was responding to Cat Paul saying they DNF a lot of spice. I was making no, you're good. I was like, I figured it had to do something with the spice and stuff, but yeah, I got you. Okay. Go back. This sandwich reminds me of this time in Sicily. Where Sophia was sitting on the lanai in 1860.
All right. We have moved.
Okay.
So my family's mulling around right now inside. Okay. So this is how I try to get different tones and descriptions of a character at a sunset. So the simple description would be the colorful sunset faded as the sun dipped below the sea on the horizon. But then now I'm going to filter it through two different POVs. The colors of my childhood painted the sky, the pinks of ballet slippers, the purples of frilly quilt, and the yellows of sunny side up eggs on Saturdays. They glowed through thin clouds and reflected on the tranquil sea lapping at my calloused, worn feet. I wished the radiant hues would stain my skin like they did the landscape, fill me with more than just a longing for a home long lost, for family. As the sun slipped below the horizon, each streak of color faded, was lost. I was alone in the dark once more. So I'm describing the colors with certain descriptions that tie it to her history and try and have her project what she's feeling onto this experience. The next one is I dare not blink lest I miss a moment of this, my last sunset. Bright colors painted the sky with the vibrance of day and life. The beauty of the world was slipping through my thin fingers. I held my hand to the horizon, letting the warmth of yellows and oranges scatter through my translucent skin that grew colder by the moment, my blessed humanity fading as the sun dipped lower, each slowing pulse of my dying heart heralding the oncoming of night, of the undead. As the foaming sea swallowed the sun, I swallowed my tears. So they're both standing at the beach watching a sunset, but because of the character's experience and what they're going through and their history, I paint a different picture with each sunset. And yeah.
Very good. I love both of those.
Mm-hmm. So pretty.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. So if you notice, Laura also used all 5 senses in both of those scenes to help set the tone. So make sure that you've got enough sensory description in there to really help it pop too. Because that, yeah. Again, Laura, chef's kiss all the time. Oh, goodness. And again, I know I don't need to apologize, but I will apologize for Kona snoring because she's already starting.
I don't hear. I just hear the birds chirping, which I'm so jealous.
That's mine. Yeah.
All right. And so this last question that we'll hit on before we go, this kind of ties into what we were just talking about. So how do you deal with the issue of your writing not living up to the image in your head? What tools do you use to make it better?
So I have. Go for it.
I don't know how to answer though, but I like that question. It's kind of sometimes what I deal with because I'm such a visual writer that sometimes I think, am I putting too much description in the scene? Like you could probably draw like or paint a scene of a built like of the room I'm in because I just tend to describe it, but not really flowery. It's just almost blah, but it's a lot there. But I like my thesaurus, those special thesauruses. Where are they? Yeah, the emotional thesaurus and the rules settings thesaurus. So I use them, and sometimes I just look up images that I want to kind of use or photographs to describe things a little bit different.
So I was writing a sci-fi book that's supposed to be the first of a duology, and I realized it wasn't coming out exactly how I wanted, and part of it is because I need to read more sci-fi. I need to see how people do it. And so it's been on pause for a while. Have I gotten around to reading more sci-fi? No, not yet. I need to. So I literally wrote the sentence, pew, 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 all 3 fell down. And I was like, I need to take a break. So, like, part of it was working really well. But then I love onomatopoeias. I'm like, I can't use the word pew. Like, I can't. So, yeah, it's still on the back burner. My gates of ascension. So, yeah. My poor story. I got like 22K into it, had an epiphany on how to have this amazing twist, started rewriting it over again, and then I don't know how far, probably 12K into it again, and then ran out of steam with the pew pews.
I like the pew pews though.
It was supposed to be an intense assassination scene.
Oh no.
Like, this is not working.
Raven says, sorry, my birdie cousins are being a lot. Eva says, I don't see in my head at all. My writing is as close to making it what I see as possible. If readers can understand it, I have failed. Otherwise, I feel comfortable in my limitations here. But I do use tools, maps, word choices help. Yep. Yes.
Oh, I'm always drawing maps. If my village, my world, scenes that if they're going someplace different, like through the woods, I have to see the pathway that they go, and then I write it, and then I have to change the map if it doesn't correspond with what I wrote. But usually what I write is the way I change the map to. And if you have to
Right.
change your map 10 times, go for it. It's just
Right.
pencil and paper.
Yeah.
One of my stories, my reverse cannibal, futuristic, slightly future California story, I was doing a lot of Google Maps, but there's cave systems and stuff in this area of the story was taking place. And so I was watching YouTube videos of spelunkers exploring those cave systems so I could see what they were like. Was there water in them? Like, how deep did they go? That kind of stuff. And so that was very helpful.
Yeah. And anytime that you can watch something that has a very similar scene to what you're imagining, sometimes that can trigger a few extra words in you that will help you describe the scene. Another thing that I've done in the past is I go back to, say, older generation books, the ones that are prosy, because I know that they have a scene in there that's very similar to what I'm imagining, and I read what they wrote. And then it usually kickstarts my brain into, okay, this is what modern time people would like to read. And I write that. But yeah.
Yeah,
And
we're not paid by the word anymore.
no. Do your research. This made me giggle. Yeah. But yeah. And that's another area where like your beta readers and critique partners and fellow writers can help you out too. Be like, hey, I've got this scene. What am I lacking? What are you visualizing here? Kind of thing. And you can tell what you're lacking by what they tell you they're seeing in their mind.
Yeah, I don't see things in my mind when I read or write. And so it's very difficult to be like, well, this is my vision for the character. This is my vision for the room. Because it's like, I'm just making it up, man. I'm just pulling stuff out of thin air. And so it's hard to have a beta reader go like, well, I feel like your characterization wasn't as consistent as it could be, because it's like, I'm just making it up. I don't talk to my characters. I don't have figment to my imagination. And so it's making me have to do a lot more work for revision on nailing down character in a separate document and nailing down their trauma responses and stuff like that. And so I think through their feedback, which is spurring on more of a, not a planner, but like, I don't know, making a world Bible. So is helping me try and nail down characterization, nail down world building. Because like, I have a bunch of fantasy creatures. Like, I have Naga, I have pixies, I have Nephilim, I have angels and demons, I have vampires, I have werewolves, I have a ton in this world. And I need to nail down, were they always knowing about the other species? How did that change the world built? Like, how the world was built? Because it would be different than Earth today if all these species were out and about the entire history. I would need to decide what the dynamics are between species and how they get along. And so, like, I need to nail this stuff down for the second draft now. And so it's like, I didn't have an image in my head. I was just making stuff up on the fly. So just trying to make it as the best version it can be, the most fleshed out it can be, has been helpful, having beta readers give me these questions to work on. So, yeah.
Very good, very good. So yeah, having discussion about a famous author that still boggles my mind sometimes. Town is stew. I having written book 1 of I'm No Hero, I'm going back through my world building so that I can start edits on book 2. And some things are very, very descriptive and it's solid. And then 10 chapters down, it's like, I changed it completely. What? So yeah, book 2 is going to be a mess, and I am putting it off. All right. So, is there anything else that we want to go over before we head out? A bit of everything. Yes. No?
I plead the fifth.
All right. So, I guess we'll do our outros, and we will see y'all next Sunday, either here or on one of my co-hosts' channels. But yeah, Laura, if you want to go first, let me point the right direction, and then Rita.
Sure. I am Lonettles, the author of Tiny Shivers, and on my querying journey for a middle grade horror, and trying to decide what to do with this vampire romance. Do I want to Kickstarter it? Do I want to just try and query it? I don't know. So, yeah. Stay tuned tomorrow, my video where I do a 2024 postmortem and my 2025 goals video comes out. So, yeah. Finally.
I'm Rita. I write young adult urban fantasy. Also go by Miranda over at my YouTube channel, Miranda's Cauldron, where I host writing sprints mid-morning Mondays and Thursdays. And I'm trying to get back to doing tarot streams around the full moon.
Nice. Very good. All right. I am writer Sam Wicker. For those of you that don't know me, welcome to my channel. I write romantasy and erotic fantasy erotica, whatever you want to call it. And I have 3 books out, and all of the links are down below, along with my lovely co-hosts' links as well. So make sure to check them out. If you ever want to join us up here on screen so you can help other creatives with your ideas, then make sure to fill out that form. The link is also down below and in the chat. And if you want to remain somewhat anonymous with a question, you don't want to pop it up in chat or in the comments below if you're rewatching, then fill out the form as well. It's called Help Me With ... down below. And we will see y'all next time. Bye.